Good morning. Welcome to the last day of the week, Friday's TNT with Tim
And Nick.
and Nick. Where are you from?
I'm from Thailand.
Okay, well, where are you we borrow you from
Yeah.
somebody.
I'm from the Stone Crab Pub located in Rawai. You can find us on the road that goes to Naiharn Beach, and we are open every day for live sports entertainment as well as your favorite music and cold beer.
And we've got another sponsor as well, who's been a sponsor with us for a long time.
Yes, thank you to 5 Star Marine for sponsoring us. Please go to 5 Star Marine for your boat adventures to Phuket and other surrounding islands.
And whilst you're at it, please subscribe to the channel. That's a great help to us. You don't get any crazy emails. You don't have to pay. But if you do get the opportunity, you probably need to be on either a phone or a laptop or a desktop. Scroll down and press that subscribe button. It really does help the situation. Nick, let's get stuck into today's stories. And we start with this one. Sort of under the theme of a story hidden within a story. And it says that tourist behind the escort clip has left. The Chinese tourist who posted a video clip showing 3 Thai police officers offering her a shortcut through immigration and a police escort to Pattaya has already left the country. So this has caused a great amount of discussion within Thai media. Let's go further and we'll find there is a story within this story soon. And the police say that a criminal investigation into the officer's conduct is yet to be launched. And responding to growing calls for the police to prosecute the tourist for accepting the officer's offer, the police say the tourist police had to act with the utmost caution so as to not ruin the cordial relations between the two countries. Well, the first sentence there, growing calls for the police to prosecute the tourist. I don't think it's the tourist's fault. The tourist has just responded to advertisements. She's then said, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. I've got the money to spend.
Of course.
Police turn up to pick her up and escort her out of the airport and down to Pattaya. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't accept your offer. Well, that's just absurd. You can't prosecute the tourist. The mistake here is clearly with immigration officials and the police that have organised this. When asked about the progress of the investigation into the case, the tourist police said they found no evidence confirming they had found evidence that 2 of the officers were actively offering immigration shortcuts and police escort services. So prosecute them, not the tourist. He said the public will be informed once the probe concludes. And then this paragraph, here we go with the second part of this story. In related news, Per Thai Party MP has criticised the Prime Minister and the Tourism and Sports Minister for failing to show up at yesterday's House session in Parliament to answer questions surrounding the Thailand Elite Card scheme. The Elite Card, by the way, is a system whereby you can buy a 5, 10 or 20-year visa into Thailand. It starts at about 600,000 baht for the 5-year Thailand Elite Card. It gives you certain privileges, also gives you an opportunity to stay in the kingdom. You can't work, but you can invest in land. When I say the word scheme, what do you think first? What's the first thing you think of?
Well, scheme, I would think, is just a way to monopolize on unsuspecting tourists looking for an easy way in.
So I think a lot of people do think the word scheme. So I think when they use the word, they should be saying Thailand Elite Card program or plan rather than...
Scheme makes it sound like it's more for monetary gain rather than a real tourist.
Sure. And so, of course, we'll be interested to hear your comments on any of these stories, which we'll get to after we do all our news today. And this Per Thai MP in that second paragraph there said he would like the Prime Minister and the Tourism and Sports Minister to respond to recent findings which showed that the Elite Card had been sold to several Chinese citizens, which authorities suspect are part of a transnational crime syndicate. Well, now further to that, we've noted that I've spoken to visa agents and they've said they've had a rush on the elite cards and the elite plans. Now, this is because in the case in certainly Phuket, they've said publicly they're not going to issue any new visas to Chinese citizens. So these elite visas are something that involve a lot less paperwork. It's really just a money transaction and a much lower level of qualifications, except financially. And so they say that they've never been busier, and particularly with Russian and Chinese people grabbing onto these elite visas. As elite card holders, this is down the bottom, these individuals were able to purchase properties, access privileges, including fast-track immigration clearance. He said he would like to know how the government plans to prevent elite card holders from abusing their immigration privileges. And the Move Forward Party's MP, Rangsaman Rome, also said he had evidence to prove a relative of General Prayut, that's Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister, was involved in illegal activities conducted by a Chinese criminal syndicate. So I think there are obviously comments that need to be addressed by the Prime Minister, and the whole elite card system has now got big question marks because it may be involved with issuing illegal immigration visas to some people. So plenty of questions to be asked on that one. And please make sure you comment please comment about the stories we're doing. I know you like to have your own conversation in the comments section, but we want to know what you think about these stories. Moving on to our next story today, and this is another part of our theme today of scams, shams, and what did
shakedowns.
And shakedowns. This comes under the heading of shakedowns, Nick. Reported by the Bangkok Post, the Taiwanese actress alleges police extortion. Apparently, she had to pay 27,000 baht, and there she is. Her name is Charlene An, and I think you thought she was a bit of a good looker.
I think I have to give credit where credit is due.
Charlene An there. And so police are investigating a Taiwanese actress's complaints that police shook her down for 27,000 baht at a checkpoint in Hua Kwang district, that's sort of just north of the Asok district in Sukhumvit, during the New Year holiday. And a policeman, the chief indeed of the Hua Kwang station, said on Thursday that normally his station did not set up checkpoints in the area mentioned by Charlene An. Well, yes or no, I think is probably a better answer. Ms. An complained via social media that she was stopped at a checkpoint near the Chinese embassy at about 1 a.m. on January the 4th and was kept there for about 2 hours. She said the officers told her that her visa on arrival was unacceptable and must be printed in her passport with an official emblem. Okay, well, again, I would have thought that that's the immigration fault, not hers. She's not really going to know if a stamp is legal or not. So I think the police need to go and have a chat to the immigration officer who processed her when she arrived and not target her. After being searched and having long conversations with the police and asking what she did wrong, the 33-year-old actress finally learned she had to pay for her freedom, which was some 27,000 baht, she claimed. Her group recorded a video, but the officers told them to delete it. If you are told by police to delete a video, do you think there's a way that you can sort of press a few buttons and
get it back
and actually keep it somehow?
Yeah, you could. Because when you delete it, right, maybe some aren't aware, but it'll move to a folder called recently deleted.
Well, you're going to have to sit there and sort of, recently deleted.
Yeah, you also have 30 days to get it back, so you don't have to do it immediately.
Okay. All right, so, cameras versus police. It seems to be a bit of a problem these days. She says, I'll never go back to Thailand, and I would like to warn Taiwanese people that they should be careful when they're visiting Thailand and do not carry a lot of cash in their wallets. And she apparently has got 109,000 Instagram followers. And the Bangkok Post also reporting a response from the police in relation to this story. Police warned a drunk Taiwanese actress and say the only thing they found was a vaporizer, noting that vaping is meant to be, illegal in Thailand. And the checkpoint was manned by 6 officers from the Hua Kwang station, was part of a normal operation. Oh, well, that answers the query from the police officer who said, it wasn't normal, but apparently it is normal to have a checkpoint there during the New Year holiday. When the officers stopped the taxi carrying the Taiwanese actress and her friends around 1 a.m., they carried out a normal search for illicit items in line with procedures.
You know what? As I was just recently in Bangkok, I'll make this quick. Just outside the Asok BTS, sorry, no, not Asok, the Tonglo BTS station, they had also set up a checkpoint starting around midnight and were stopping most taxi cars with tourists in them and shaking them down. But every Thai person riding a motorbike without a helmet on and no lights working, they get to go past free,
Which often happens.
Yeah.
Because they're less likely to have cash in
And
their
there's
pocket.
more money in tourists.
Allegedly. Let's go on with the story. Apparently, the actress, according to the police, appeared drunk, did not have a passport, noting that you do have to carry your passport at all times as a visitor to Thailand. If you don't want to carry your passport, you can leave it in a safe in your hotel, but make sure you have a copy on your phone or a photostat in your pocket. But you are required to carry identification, and the police are allowed to ask you for it at any time. Police had communication problems with a group who spoke Chinese while the officers used English and gestures. That would have been fun. The actress told police that she would have a friend bring her passport to the checkpoint. Police waited for over an hour, but apparently she didn't turn up. Due to communication difficulties, both sides became frustrated, grew irritated with each other. Finally, the policemen had to move their checkpoint to another location as scheduled. They let the actresses group go without any legal action, according to police. Video from local surveillance cameras show the policemen stopped the taxi at the checkpoint, but they didn't bring anyone from the checkpoint to any deserted alley to demand money.
Oddly specific.
Yes. Let's go to this particular story. This is actually live from the Bangkok Post, just came up before we started broadcasting. It says that operators are exasperated regarding police scams. Exasperated, Nick, exasperated. Tourism operators have expressed frustration over repeated scandals involving Thai police after they were accused of extorting a Taiwanese actress. Again, this story obviously making quite a lot of international news. The TAT, of all people, are urging an investigation into an issue to evaluate its impact on the country. And then it goes to tell about Charlene Ahn and her alleged extortion. And the president of the Tourism Council of Chonburi insisted related organisations and the Royal Thai Police must investigate the issue, punishing anyone involved if they committed a crime. So that story will continue to shake out in Thai media, I'm very sure. Voice of America have also had something to say about that particular story. Inviting anybody who has comments about these stories to write it into our comments section, and Nick will get to that after we finish with our news today. Let's go to our next story, and Thai Wrath reporting on a shooting of a man in a bedroom of a shack in the Chalong sub-district, another Chalong, in Nakhon Si Thammarat, southern Thailand. That's sort of directly eastwards of Phuket and Krabi on the Gulf Coast. Let's go to this story, and it says that a 42-year-old, a rubber plantation worker, was dressed only in a pair of black shorts. He'd been hit by 6 bullets fired from a gun of an unknown make. He was hit 3 times in the stomach. It appeared he'd been shot while sleeping, and the police suggest the execution-style killing was either over a woman or a personal conflict. They have no evidence to say that other than it's a suggestion, and they've set up a special task force to investigate that murder. Police also, in the news over this story from thenationthailand.com, and cops nab the final suspect in a snake show arson linked to triads. And this is part of that ongoing story into Chinese triads and the man called Tuhao, who's currently in police custody. And the 42-year-old was nabbed in the parking lot of a shopping mall in Bangkok's Dusit district on Wednesday this week. A Phuket court issued a warrant for his arrest last October over an attempted murder and arson. And it happened back in April last year. 3 men snuck into a snake show, tourist attraction, in the main city district of Phuket and set fire to the building. They also tied up a security guard, beat him severely, leading to injuries, left him permanently disabled. Police say the first 2 suspects arrested confessed to receiving orders from Jainat Tuhao Konchayanat to burn down the place as it belonged to his business rival. Of course, that man is currently being investigated on suspicion of running a crime network. And it says the Chinese businessman who gained Thai citizenship by marrying a senior Thai police officer surrendered to an arrest warrant last November. He's denying all the charges, and dozens of other suspects have been questioned by police. They've already confiscated assets valued at 5.3 million from China, and the Justice Ministry says they're targeting another 3 billion, I think I said million, I meant billion, in assets owned by China and his alleged crime network. So that's the story that just keeps on barreling along. But the snake show in Phuket targeted, apparently owned by a rival. Thinking April last year, there weren't many people coming to Phuket.
Yeah, it's also a pretty intense April Fool's joke, but...
Well, yeah, it was April 22nd.
Maybe they got carried away. Maybe it took some planning.
Moving to our next story, and no, actually, I'll miss that one. Let's go to this story, and this is, I suppose, coming under the heading of crazy van drivers. And Thai PBS World reporting that 22 children were injured in a school van accident in Nakhon Ratchasima, which is about 3 hours northeast of Bangkok. 22 school children were injured, mostly suffering bruises, in a road incident involving a school van. And that happened yesterday morning. The third paragraph, as the van was approaching a bend in the road, the driver said he suddenly lost control of the steering. The vehicle skidded off the road and tipped onto its side. He claims he was not speeding. A school escort and the driver that helped pull the panicked and crying children out of the van and alerted the emergency services, who arrived at the scene shortly after, had all the children taken to the local district hospital. Police say they'll question the driver and the teacher escort before pressing any charges. So these vans, they've got to just improve the maintenance. They need to start improving the licensing of these drivers, because it's almost a daily occurrence when we read a story like this.
Well, and also the driving education system in general, it needs a complete review.
Yes. I won't tell you how I got my license, but it didn't involve a lot of driving or sitting in an exam room.
It's a joke on what suffices as knowledge to drive a motor vehicle.
And hence Thailand continues to have one of the highest traffic incidents and death tolls per capita in the world. To our next story, and this is a bit of an interesting cultural indulgence. Thai PBS World again. Myanmar's netizens are arguing whether Songkran should be part of World Heritage. So Thailand's gone ahead and they've applied to UNESCO and saying that they want Songkran to be listed as a unique part of Thailand's heritage. But not so fast, because as soon as the Myanmar service of the BBC reported that Thailand's traditional Songkran New Year festival has already been submitted to UNESCO for inclusion in the World Heritage List, there was an outpouring of emotion. And fourth paragraph down there, arguments rage online that whilst several Southeast Asian countries share a similar form of New Year celebrations, it should not be Thailand's alone. Many argue that there are historical differences and unique identities pertaining to each country. Many lament the fact that while neighbouring nations such as Thailand are making efforts to protect and enrich their own culture, Myanmar remains locked in internal strife. Well, that internal strife is an ongoing story, which of course we've reported quite a lot. I note that in the past there's been the Kingdom of Siam, which is larger than the current Thailand.
Yes.
And before then there was the Khmer Kingdom, which sort of was partly Burma and Laos and Cambodia and Thailand. And these borders have changed historically. So now a lot of these countries around Southeast Asia and the countries around Thailand all do celebrate some sort of water festival.
Yes.
What do you do for Songkran?
I like to target the tourists driving on the road with water guns. I just think it's a very fun celebration. It's one of the biggest water parties out there.
Well, I think...
Or water fights, I should say.
I think it is probably... In tourist areas, it's certainly a water fight.
And so it's gotten so bad to the point now where signs have been put up saying it's a water play, not a water fight. But, youngsters like myself still prefer the term water fight.
So a spokesman from Myanmar is saying it's no surprise at all. If you go to Thailand, they practice and protect their cultural events very carefully. Most of the time in Myanmar, when it's TNT Jan, which is the Myanmar Water Festival, it's just a massive excuse for a party to get drunk and be indecent. Well, that sounds exactly like a lot of Songkran festivals in popular tourist locations in Thailand. There was also comments from users claiming to be Cambodians, further adding fuel to the division regarding this issue. I'll get to that video in a moment. This story from ASEANnow.com and 77 Cow Ted. 77 Cow Ted reported an accident outside a condo in the area of Samut Prakhan. A bus hit a small power pole and a large tree and was under the vehicle. A 62-year-old named Prasert was one of the condo's security men who had been on duty outside. He was taken to the Samut Prakhan hospital, and the driver, the 44-year-old, had a cut lip but no recollection of what happened. They all rushed to the scene, found the man foaming at the mouth and confused. Sounds more like a possible epileptic fit. Police believe the driver had a seizure of some kind, perhaps from an existing condition. Let's go to this video, and we can see that indeed a very colourful bus not looking very happy there after bursting through the front of a condo and ending up virtually on its side. And the security guard ended up underneath the bus, very lucky to have survived that particular incident. So not a good sight on the sides of the road in Samut Prakhan. And I think that is all we've got in regards to our stories today. There was one other story I just had in here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, this is interesting, just breaking news basically, and reported by the Bangkok Post-Nick. Emergency decree endorsed in order to tackle online fraud. The Cabinet's approved a draft emergency decree meant to combat online fraud, enabling financial institutions to halt suspicious transactions temporarily for scrutiny. And the draft emergency decree, it hasn't actually been promulgated yet, on the prevention and suppression of technology crime will be forwarded by the Council of State for vetting before it's enacted. So that's just breaking news there and reported in the bangkokpost.com if you'd like to read more about it. So it's not going to impact on tourism or any additional restrictions, but it looks like it may allow financial institutions to perhaps act on suspicious transactions before they happen, which is probably a good thing. That ends our news section of the program. Now we move into the comment section of the program. So all those people who just like the news, that's roughly just like we used to do it. Now you can go and do whatever you're doing. But for those people that do want to comment on the stories and hear what people were commenting on yesterday, this is now your part of the program.
Yes. So some people recently have been commenting about the drop in video quality. I believe that's just an automatic quality setting on your YouTube playback. So you can click on the little gear and change the quality back up to 720p.
It looks fine. We're watching the YouTube feed
we're watching
here.
ourselves on the YouTube right now.
And I'm sharp, wrinkles and all. So it might be a local setting on your computer.
Anyway, going back to the beginning, after a little bit of conversation amongst yourselves, Mutt Eric said, "The boys in brown shook me down for 20,000 through my wife after a checkpoint stop and 2 hours in a police station."
I'm not really sure how you stop this. I mean, this behaviour of the police in Thailand, some of them feel it's their God-given right to be able to stop tourists and shake them down. And they do understand that the tourists are more likely to have money than the locals. I've been shaken down once, I suppose, not too bad out of 12 years. But I was caught in an accident where some youths on a motorbike without helmets plunged into the side of my car whilst I was doing a U-turn. They were entirely at fault, but no. I had to pay for their hospitalisation. I even went to the hospital to check that they were okay. But yeah, I was taken aside and told I'd have to make a payment. If you do get caught in those situations, by the way, here's my advice. Firstly, don't sign anything. Don't go to the police station. Insist on being able to contact the tourist police, number one. And secondly, if it's available on where you are, the consulate member for your country. So you need to demand those two things. You're certainly within your right to do so. Whether the police will wait there and allow you to do that's another thing. But you need to get the tourist police there. Or the other thing is get somebody who speaks Thai and your language and get them to help in the negotiations to make sure there's no language barrier. Don't admit to anything. Just do not. And don't get angry because you'll always lose every single time. That's the advice I would have if you're caught up in one of those shakedowns.
News Thailand says, agree, you need to have severe punishment of the ones paying the bribes. They are part of it and is definitely plentiful in Thailand.
Okay, so if you are offered a preferred treatment, offered you pay, and then you're given the front of the queue, are you complicit? Well, you probably are. But don't just blame the tourist. You need to go and chase the people that's made the illegal offer as well. Or is it illegal? Tourists don't know.
And Clive asked earlier, what was the 27,000 baht fine for? That was, I think, in reference to the actress story.
Well, apparently she was caught with a vaporizer. Mm-hmm. So that was enough for a 27,000 baht fine. I think if you actually have a look at the statute, it says that being caught with a vape is more like 500 or 1,000 baht. Yes. It's not 27,000 baht. That's a completely arbitrary number.
Mm-hmm. Kijay also mentioned, hi Kijay, does the fact that this occurred near a Chinese embassy have anything to do with the detention?
Yeah, I thought about that. I think the fact that they were going past the Chinese embassy was completely erroneous. She was Taiwanese anyway, not Chinese.
And Carl says, why is vaping illegal in Thailand? I guess you might have some news about that from.
Well, a lot of people think that it's something to do with the fact that the tobacco industry has got quite a strong hold on Thai people's smoking habits, and they don't want to see them moving on to vaping or sucking in other substances instead of tobacco. So I don't have a reason. I'm not sure why vaping does remain illegal. Would I rather see people vaping than smoking? It doesn't particularly bother me. It's up to them what they want to suck into their lungs. It's just I only worry about both vaping and smoking. I find them both pretty intrusive if I'm in a bar or something. Well, I don't care if they want to be self-destructive. It's entirely up to them. But I don't want to sit next to a table in a bar or a restaurant where people are either vaping or smoking.
The difference is with the smoking, it's quite a nasty smell. But with the vaping, it's more of like a vanilla fragrance or strawberry fragrance every once in a while.
Sometimes, but not always. At the end of the day, I just want to sort of breathe the air that's available, not infused with anything else. And that talks about smoking anything, by the way. Go ahead and smoke your lungs out. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. Just don't do it in public and annoy other people. It's just bad manners.
It's a little bit more concerning when it smells of burnt plastic or something nearby.
Yes.
Hans mentioned that. Hans mentioned that he was told to keep a passport copy with him, and I would really recommend this as well because in Europe, back when you had to show your COVID certificates for every building that you entered and every train that you had to go on, it was much easier keeping a copy of that with you rather than having to bring out the real thing every time, and that was enough to keep the local police happy.
Yes, I think they are entitled to ask you for your identification. Mm-hmm. So if you're an expat and you've got a driver's license, you can use that. You can also use that to get on a plane, for example. But keep a copy of your passport either on your phone or a photostat with you at all times, just in case. Probably best not to carry your actual passport. You're right.
Now with the new iPhone features as well, you can upload, I believe, for 2 states. It might be Colorado and Arizona. I might be wrong. You can now upload like an official valid ID version or digital version of your driver's license to your phone through Apple Wallet, which was pretty cool.
you go. If you're from Colorado, Arizona, and have an iPhone.
Yeah, it might be the two different states, but I remember seeing an advertisement about it somewhere. And moving on to driving in Thailand, or with the quote silver vans of death, Hans also mentioned driving in Thailand is survival of the fittest. You either survive as an excellent driver or not.
Can I just say, when it comes to the actual statistics on road deaths, it is the vast majority are 18 to 24-year-old males, and in I think 90% of the cases they've either been speeding or they've been involved in some sort of drug taking or alcohol. So if you're not in those two groups and you're wearing a helmet, you're actually reasonably safe. If you're in a car, even more so. In fact, when you look at the fatality rate of car drivers in Thailand, it's not much different from the rest of the world. It's certainly young male motorcyclists who fill up most of the statistics for fatalities on Thailand's roads. Over to you while I cough.
Other than that, Bottle Baby had mentioned that he went to a checkpoint about 19 years old, and cops were dressed in brown with sidearms, and almost everyone had a can of beer in their hand.
We've got one here. I'll just bring this a little bit closer.
I just read out the comment, but okay, interesting story, and that does sound a little bit out of character, but nothing too far-fetched for Thailand.
NT News Thailand says when you go jogging, it's quite a challenge to have a passport with you. And he says, I've never been requested to show it during my 20 years in Southeast Asia. Okay, fair comment. If you go jogging, probably police are not going to stop you for jogging, by the way, unless you're wearing very, very short shorts that might be considered indecent. Otherwise, I think it's very unlikely that police are going to be stopping a jogger. But thank you, NT News Thailand.
Don't Remain a Tadpole also mentioned, calling your consulate normally gets the boys in brown in line, and it works like magic.
Yeah, look, I think you're well entitled to get somebody along who can either sort of act as some sort of intermediary, because there will probably be a language barrier unless you speak fluent Thai. So either have a friend who can help translate for you, keep calm at all times, getting a consular member along, and keeping your cool is the best chance you've got to sort things out.
Yes. The chairman mentions, I was strolling along Sukhumvit a couple of days ago. The dispensaries were doing a brisk trade, it seemed. Thankfully, no recreational use on the street.
Yeah, noting that it's actually illegal to smoke what you're buying at those dispensaries in the dispensary or out in the street specifically. So you just be careful, take it home and enjoy it in the privacy of your own residence.
And Tai Teo mentions, hi Tim, enjoy your news updates very much. Would it be possible to add a section of upcoming events to Thailand?
Well, we'd probably have an entire show of upcoming events because there's always some sort of event. And I'd like to publicise them. We sometimes report them after they've actually happened. That probably would require almost a full-time person scouring the media to be able to tell you what's happening. I would also suggest, like Richard Barrow in Thailand, his Facebook page, he's always promoting different festivals that are coming up, and there's plenty of other resources available. We sort of stick to relatively hard news. That's our shtick. That's sort of what we do. But we appreciate the suggestion.
Yes, and speaking of upcoming events, at the Stoned Crab Pub, you will be able to go and watch the Super Bowl. I'm wearing this Bucks jersey today because of that. And yes, I know they're not going to qualify, but this is what I got. And you can come and watch it on February 13th, and we will have it later on in the evening, I believe, because then
February the 13th? Didn't you say it was the 5th?
No, it's not the 5th.
Okay, as long as you've
13th,
checked.
because of the time difference, and it will not be early in the morning. It will be later on in the evening, or else everyone will be getting wasted around 7 in the morning, which...
When you say the Bucks, you're referring to the Buccaneers.
Yes.
Which are based in...
Tampa, Florida.
Okay, there you go. I'm not going to get into that because I've got no idea. The only Super Bowl I watch is the entertainment they have between the two halves.
Oh.
And my shirt, this is from Audi, who are sponsors of the Med Cup, which I was involved in with for 2 or 3 years, which was very enjoyable until they went broke. But I don't have an Audi, but it's a nice shirt.
What's the Med Cup?
The Med Cup is a sailing cup that goes around 4 different ports in the Mediterranean. It's like about 50, 60, 70 boats, and they travel to Majorca, and then they go to Portugal, and then we go to places in Italy. I can't remember all the locations, but it was always the same tents and the same girls and the same champagne, but a really good time.
JH donated $10. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, thank you. Jay, does he have something to say?
Yes, he says, I recently got a 6-month multiple entry tourist visa. I had to show $5,000 in an account for 6 months. The Thai police would know that day when they see such a visa. Lucky, lucky day for them.
So what sort of a visa did he apply for?
A 6-month multiple entry tourist visa.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I didn't know either.
I think there's a 60-day tourist visa, which you can extend for another 30. I've never heard of a 6-month tourist visa, unless it was one of those special tourist visas, the STVs, that they introduced during COVID to try and encourage people to come back to Thailand. But anyway, we'd probably like to know a bit more, Jay. Thank you very much, by the way, for your generosity. But we probably just need to know a little bit more about your visa, because I don't believe there's any such thing as a 6-month tourist visa. Did you have some comments from yesterday, by the way?
I do have some comments from yesterday, so let's go into those.
You've always got your phone in your pocket. If you had it sitting next to you, we wouldn't have to wait for you to...
It's going to buzz, and it's going to ding, and it's going to make a lot of noise.
You're so popular.
I know, right? From yesterday's program, JVM mentioned remote worker is certainly better than digital nomad.
Okay, so I use the term digital nomad, and that's the term that's also been used by the Malaysians in regards to this new
visa,
digital nomad visa. Mm-hmm. But some people said, we don't like the term digital nomad.
So in response to that, this person said, remote worker is certainly better than digital nomad. I have been working remotely since the 90s, and I still do. And I have been traveling during that time and living in other countries, and I still do. I have no need to refer to myself as a nomad or as a remote worker. From what I have seen and experienced, a very large majority of people who refer to themselves voluntarily as digital nomads are unemployed, barely making any money, or are YouTubers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might just be what people perceive. It's like the word scheme. I think a lot of people think the word scheme is negative, where it's really not necessarily a negative word. And the same with digital nomad. I don't think it necessarily refers to sort of scruffy backpackers using for free people's Wi-Fi and stuff. I think it really... remote worker then. Call it the remote worker visa. It doesn't really bother me. Just have a visa available. I just noticed here, Reed said shakedowns happen in the Philippines and Mexico. He's well-travelled. But it doesn't happen when I'm a passenger and my Thai wife is driving in Thailand. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. Yeah, once the Thai women get involved... the police often back off.
Is that from Macbeth?
Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. Pick the, as I search, pick the Shakespeare it was from.
I'm going to say Macbeth because Lady Macbeth was being a manipulative female dog in that one. Arthur from yesterday's program mentioned, my definition of digital nomad is economic migrant. I would bet most digital nomads come to Thailand to escape low living standards in their home countries. It's not meeting the friendly locals or learning new cultures. It's arbitraging an economically better lifestyle elsewhere. The trend is just a product of economic inequality in the first world.
Heaven has no rage like love to hatred turned, nor hell a fury like a woman scorned, is the full quotation from William Congreve's The Mourning Bride, spelled Mourning, back in 1697, so not Shakespeare. Yeah. William Congreve. whose work I'm unfamiliar with.
Back to modern comments now. Ian says, question, what is the future for TNT and where do you see this channel going?
A good question. Look, I mean, we're aware that some of you don't like the new format. We're aware that some people have sort of understood that we're doing the news up the front for 20 minutes and then we do people's comments as literally a second part of the program. As to what's going to happen, I mean, I'm certainly watching the numbers. I'm watching your comments, and we want to do what you want to see, what adds value, what provides the information that you're after. We also want to give you access, and of course this gives you a lot more access to us than in the past. But at the end of the day, and I'll probably put out a survey next week and gives people a opportunity to respond. Not sure if that's always the best idea, but I do rate your comments, and people who don't like this or don't like that or do like this or that, I read all the comments. So even the ones that are quite hurtful from time to time. So we'll do our best to try and make sure we come up with the best solution. We want to just let this settle down a bit. But at the same time, if I see a radical change to our numbers, then of course I'll respond accordingly. But at the moment, the show, if you want the news, just stick around for the first 20 minutes. It's much the same as what we used to do in the past, and then move on.
As I sit awkwardly looking at the comments. Anyway, Lyric Poet mentioned, and I have had a couple other people mention this, where's the stone crab located? It is on Soi Sayuan, on the way towards Nai Harn Beach, that road, off of Visit. And it's on the left side of the road as you're making your way down the hill towards Nai Harn. It's earlier on in Soi Sayuan.
That's got some nice little cafes and sort of boutique hotels along it.
Yes, exactly. Yes.